Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Gradius 3 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. In this 1991 shoot-'em-up from Konami, you're off to fight the Bacterian Empire in your trusty Vic Viper starship. Cause who doesn't like lasers and aliens and outer space? Like its predecessors, Gradius 3 is a prime example of the tried-and-true space shooter formula. Blast your way through various levels, complete with flying enemies, embedded enemies, stage hazards, and boss fights, all while upgrading your ship's firepower and defenses. And the particularly unique power-up system here is the defining feature of any Gradius game. Instead of collecting bespoke upgrade items, you have a gallery of all available power-ups at the bottom of the screen, and you grab generic orange token capsules from defeated enemies to cycle through that list and select which power-up you need most. And luckily, you can have almost all of them activated at once to turn the Vic Viper into a near unstoppable force of cosmic destruction, outfitted with bombs and lasers and shields and up to 4 satellite options that trail you and mimic your arsenal to quadruple your already ridiculous firepower. You can even choose between a few variations of the upgrade gallery at the start of the game, along with enabling auto-fire and adjusting difficulty. Easy mode for me, please. I'll take all the help I can get here. Of course, the other thing Gradius is known for is the devastation of losing all those power-ups when you die, and being forced to take on hordes of enemies with just your puny little standard cannon again. That is, unless you're a dirty cheater like me, and you bookmark all the stages and boss battles with save states to reset your full arsenal whenever you die. Ah, the luxury of classic gaming in the modern era. Anyway, just what are you and the Vic Viper up against in the third installment of this excellent franchise? Well, level 1 is a sand planet crawling with mech walkers, cannon turrets, and dragon snakes that pop out of the dunes being all coily and scary. And the boss is a giant sand bug with way too many pincers who sends wiggly tentacle pods at you. Level 2 is the Bubble Planet, full of big bubbles that burst into bunches of bubbles that burst into itty-bitty bubbles, which would be fantastically whimsical if only the bubbles didn't kill you on contact or transport deadly enemy ships inside them. And the boss here is also a bubble, but it's housing an array of nerves and an eyeball. You slowly penetrate its defenses to give it some classic laser eye surgery and, well, burst its bubble. Level 3 starts off as the Space Camper's Paradise, with tree-covered cliffs and stuff. But it quickly devolves into a fiery volcano death zone where nothing is dormant, and ultimately becomes a big dirt wall to blast through as you try not to get crushed under boulders. This stage boss is particularly fond of lasers, as it switches from blasting several laser arrays to trapping you between 2 lasers while simultaneously weaving a diamond pattern with, you guessed it, more lasers. Level 4 is the classic Gradius staple, Moai stage, where Easter Island heads spit deadly rings at you as you try to desperately shoot them in the only weak spot, their pie holes. And naturally, the boss is a pair of 2 huge Moai heads that attack you with tiny Moai heads and periodically cause avalanches. Then level 5 is just sorta on fire. Everywhere. Everything is on fire. You're on fire, I'm on fire, and the 2-headed dragon snake boss is on fire. Or at least, it likes fire, but I sure don't. Moving on. Level 6 seems to be the ruins of an alien civilization taken over by vegetation. Namely, pods that burst into bullets, and creepy vine arms with no respect for your personal space. The boss is, naturally, a big ol' plant, who spreads its leaves to suck you into its eye by manipulating gravity. Suffice it to say, these cosmic plants are not fit for a well-mannered backyard garden. Level 7 is the dreaded speed stage, where you've gotta set your engines to full throttle, weaving along corridors and through opening and closing barriers. I swear, this part is absolutely brutal. And it doesn't even let up at the end either, since you face off against a marble-spewing, laser-firing, metal coaster-looking spacecraft. Level 8 is a boss rush, but instead of recycling previous level bosses, it throws a bunch of new ones at you. A clunky canister that switches from missile attacks to beam attacks, a big crystal jellyfish with wavy tentacle arms, a pronged laser ship that you have to defeat one half at a time, a big space wheel that guards its vulnerable bits with rotating shielding while firing multi-directional bombs, and what I can only describe as a space laser centipede pod of terror. After this, level 9 is a claustrophobic factory, where enemies harass you from all directions, and the environment inexplicably closes in from above and below. Here, the boss is basically just a wall that shoots anything and everything at you until you take out its 3 marble cores. The next section tests your flying skills in a 3-part gauntlet. First, a barrage of asteroids with almost no space to maneuver between them. Next, a shrinking block corridor lined with attack ships. And ultimately, a face-off with 2 screen-filling wall walkers. You want to try to weave through their legs as quick as possible to fly up and blast the cores, or else they just turn around and stomp you to death. The final level is where things get real creepy, but I mean that in the best possible way. You zoom around a stage made of brains and muscles and sinews and stuff, attacking robot-armed meatballs and dodging space amoeba. That is until you behold the horror of the final boss, a monstrous, semi-fossilized head with an exposed, bloated brain emerging from a sea of tortured, mutilated faces. Also, he burps purple fireballs at you. It's so disturbing, but also so awesome. I mean, from an aesthetic standpoint, Gradius 3 just doesn't miss. The graphics have so much creativity and variety, even when so many of the bosses are basically glorified laser-spewing space washing machines. The chiptunes range from epic to atmospheric to downright iconic, and the sound effects are honestly some of my favorite in all of classic gaming. Voice samples to announce every power-up, bloopy, mushy, bassy explosions all over the place. Yes, please. Now, my favorite part of Gradius 3 is actually what a lot of people see as its greatest flaw, the slowdown. See, as an early Super Nintendo title, Gradius 3's programming isn't exactly optimized, so things tend to lag real bad when you're operating on a full power-up arsenal and facing off against hordes of enemies. But I see that as a useful exploit to give you more reaction time. I mean, I intentionally spammed lasers through the speed stage because they tend to make the game chug the most. Unfortunately, a little extra reaction time doesn't go too far to diminish the challenge of this game. Aside from the first few levels, Gradius 3 gets real hard, mostly from its crowded bullet patterns, occasional gotcha traps, and most of all, its length. 10 levels is just way too long, and I never could have survived with limited continues and power-up loss if I wasn't using save states. But overall, these are minor gripes for what may very well be one of the greatest 16-bit shoot-'em-ups of all time. Everything here is finely crafted, everything here is well conceived, and occasionally, everything here is on fire.